This week, I'll lead you through a slow flow practice focusing on strength and exploring backbends. Let's get started. We don't need any props for this practice, and I'll lead you through this flow without any props. However, if you normally use blocks in your practice, then you could have them somewhere nearby and you can pull them in if needed or if you want to. But then when you are ready on your mat, just find your way lying down on the belly. We're going to start lying down on the front and take just a moment checking in with our breath. So you could release your legs onto the mat, onto the floor. Maybe rock the pelvis a bit from side to begin with. Your feet, your legs can be wide apart or closer together. Where do you feel you could initially let your hips, your legs, your feet rest? Hands could be under the head, or you could bring your head all the way down onto the mat. Just find a place where you feel that it's easy to breathe. And then give yourself a few slightly deeper, slower breaths in and out. Inhaling through the nose. And exhale either through the nose or mouth. You could even let out a sigh a couple of times, allowing yourself to release tension that you don't need right now in the beginning of the practice. And with a few more breaths here, check in how you feel along your back. If there are any aches or pains along your back, just be extra mindful about them as we go through some back bends today. We'll also have quite a few poses where we have weight on the hands and arms, so be mindful about your wrists, your shoulders. And if there are any poses that don't suit your body today, you can always skip, you can always adjust. So let yourself practice with kindness and practice with your body. Stay at the safe edge as we go through the practice. And then with your next couple of breaths, still lying down on the belly, bend your knees. So now lift your feet up in the air and maybe bring your knees just a bit wider apart. And then start to swing your feet, your shins from side to side. Windshield wipers lying down on the belly. You can let the pelvis move as much as you feel there's space for your pelvis to move. Just allow some rotation in the hips. And continue to breathe. Check that you're not holding your breath when we start to move. Just a couple more swings, so we've been on both sides about the same amount of times. And then slowly bring your legs back to center and release your shins, your feet, the tops of the feet onto the mat. And then we're going to step hands out to the sides, quite wide apart, and lift hands onto fingertips. We're going to do a few cobra poses, cobra movements with hands wider apart. So now reach your head and feet away from each other. As you inhale, peel your chest off the mat, gently pressing down onto the fingertips. You might look forward, and then exhale, release your chest down and keep your elbows lifted up in the air. Same again, as you inhale, peel the chest off the mat. You can press down onto the fingertips. And exhale, release down. One more time. With your in-breath, peel the chest, the head off the mat, opening into your cobra. And exhale, release down. Next, bring your arms behind the back. See if you could interlock fingers. And then we're going to press down through the front of the pelvis. Exhale. And as you inhale, peel the chest and the fronts of the legs off the mat into a full locust pose. Hands and arms just gently pulling back, opening the chest, the fronts of the shoulders. If you want, you might turn your hands the other way so your palms turn away from your head behind you, if that feels good in the shoulders. I'll just take a couple more breaths here. We don't need to lift high up. We might be just hovering off the mat a little bit. Maybe even looking down if that feels better in the neck. And then exhale, slowly release that back bend. Step hands under shoulders, and as you inhale, lift yourself onto hands and knees, onto all fours. And we're going to go into the cat pose. So press down through the arms, and as you exhale, now round your back. You can imagine you're drawing your navel towards the spine, so really rounding through the back. And now stay in this cat pose, breathing all the time, and just gently rock the weight forward and back. Notice if the cat pose feels different when you lean a bit more forward to your hands, or if you lean more towards your feet. Can you find rounding in different areas of your spine? Allow your neck to round as well, and just rock a couple more times back and forth. You might even go into child's pose, leaning pelvis all the way down to the feet. And let's do one more rocking movement back and forth. And then bring yourself to a place where you can tuck the toes under, and we'll lift into downward facing dog. So now lift your pelvis up and let yourself move your hands, move your feet to a place where you feel stable. You might walk a bit from one foot to the other, just testing how it feels to be on your feet. Hands in a place where you feel supported through the arms, through the shoulders. And then bring the weight onto both feet. Heels don't need to touch the mat. And now as you exhale, bend your knees deeply. Bring your hips towards the heels. And then inhale, extend the legs. Head still dropping down. We'll do this another 2 times. So as you exhale, bend the knees, bring your hips down towards the heels, knees bending deeply. And inhale, extend the legs, head still dropping down. 1 more time. Exhale, bend the knees. And inhale, lift the hips up, extend the legs. And then from this downward dog, we're going to step the right foot forward to hands, finding runner's lunge. So right knee roughly on top of the right heel. And from there, find your balance and inhale, lift your back up. Lift your arms up, opening the chest. Left knee could be bent. Bring hands behind the head. You can interlock fingers. And then as you inhale, lift up through the chest bone, maybe looking a bit higher up, and just lean your head onto your hands, opening across the chest. Elbows can open out to the sides as well. And breathe here. Both legs active. If it helps, you can imagine your inner thighs kind of gently drawing towards each other. Take 1 more breath here, in and out. Soften the tops of the shoulders. And then as you exhale, release your arms and bring hands together, palms together in front of the chest. Extend the left leg more behind you. Inhale and exhale, twist to the right, bringing left elbow to the outside of the right knee or thigh. Or the other option is to bring your left hand onto the mat. And then inhale, exhale, twist just a bit further to the right. Breathing here. Long line from head to that left heel. Take one more breath in and out. And then as you exhale, release the twist. Now bring your hands down and then step your right hand on the inside of the right foot and turn your left foot onto the mat like warrior 2 feet. We're going to stay down here and then inhale, open chest out to the left, reaching left arm up. Exhale, see if you could send that left arm closer to the head. So finding a side bend, lifting the left side up. If this doesn't feel good to be all the way down, you can always bring your right elbow onto the right thigh. So wide side angle pose, opening through that left side body. Both feet pressing down. Take one more breath here, in and out. And then as you inhale, lift yourself all the way up to standing. We're going to travel to the other side of the mat. So turn your feet, turn your left foot toes to the other short side of the mat. And windmill your hands down. And then step into downward facing dog. So step your both feet back. Take a few steps from one foot to the other. Ground your hands. And then we're going to go back to bending the knees. So hands stay grounded. As you exhale, bend both knees. Again, hips come closer to the heels. And inhale, extend the legs. Keep head dropping down. Open the chest slightly. And exhale again, bending the knees deeply. Hips go down towards the heels. And inhale, extend the legs. Heels don't need to be on the mat. One more time, exhale, bend the knees, lowering down closer to the mat. And inhale, extend the legs. And then we're going to step the left foot forward to hands. Again, finding that runner's lunge. You can adjust the feet, left knee on top of the left heel. And from there, inhale, lift your back up. Lift your arms up, opening the chest. And then bring your hands behind the head, behind the neck. You can interlace the fingers. And as you inhale, open your chest here. The right knee could be bent. That might give you more space to open through the front side. Maybe breathing towards the chest, towards the ribs. Allowing the in-breaths to open. The front side, open through the sides as well. Take one more breath here, in and out. In both legs active. And then as you exhale, release the hands. Bring your hands together in front of the chest. Start to extend your right leg more. Inhale and exhale, bring your right elbow to the outside of your left knee or thigh, and then continue twisting out to the left. Again, you have the option of bringing right hand onto the mat. And just breathing here. Again, reaching right heel away from the head. The left foot grounding, pressing down. Take one more breath in this twist. And then as you exhale, release the twist. Bring hands down. Turn your right foot, the right heel onto the mat, and bring left hand on the inside of the left foot or left elbow onto your left thigh. And then as you inhale, open your chest out to the right. As you exhale, see if it would be okay to bring that right arm closer to the head, so right hand reaching away from the right foot. Opening the right side body and breathing here. You can also think about opening
the front of the right hip. Opening that whole line from chest down to the right foot. And then we're going to lift up. So as you inhale, lift your back up. Turn the feet. We're going to travel back to the front of the mat. So bring hands towards the right foot. And then step into plank. Take a couple of breaths in the plank pose. So reaching hip away from the heels. Just really activating both arms. Shoulder support. And then as you exhale, reach pelvis up and back into downward dog. And head can drop down. And then we're going to go into three-legged dog and wild thing. So now as you inhale, first reach your right leg up and then bend the right knee. You can rotate the hips open slightly. And then a few times, circle that right knee, the right hip. Just closing and opening the right hip. The knee can stay bent. You can change the direction. Go a few times the other way around. Continue to breathe. And then we're going to lift the right knee up. And from here, we're going to go into wild thing. So shift away a bit forward, kind of halfway towards plank, and then step the right foot behind you. You can turn the outside of your left foot on the mat. And now lower down. So bend your right knee, bring right elbow close to the right thigh. And as you inhale, lift up into the full wild thing. Opening your chest, reaching right arm overhead. And exhale, lower down. Again, bend the right knee. And same again. As you inhale, lift up, pressing down through the left arm. One more time. Exhale, lower down. Keep breathing. And inhale, reaching into that full wild thing, opening the chest. And from here, we're going to step back into plank. So bring your both hands down and then step your right foot next to the left foot. You can adjust your hands. And we do same on the other side. So first, lift up into downward dog. You can adjust your hands if needed. And then as you inhale, lift your left leg up. Reaching up through that left leg. You can bend the left knee. Rotate the hips open. And then start to circle that left hip. You can imagine you're drawing number 8 in the air with your left knee. Head still dropping down. You can change the direction. And then we're going to lift and leave that left knee, left leg up. And slowly shift the weight slightly forward towards the hands so you can step the left foot behind you. And again, lower down first. So bending the left knee outside of the right foot on the mat. And as you inhale, lift up into wild thing, opening through the chest. And exhale, lower down. Keep right arm active, the shoulder active. Inhale, lifting up, reaching the left arm closer to the head. And exhale again, lower down. One more time as you inhale, lift up into that full wild thing. Breathe there, in and out. And then slowly start to reach both hands to the mat. Step into plank. And then from this plank, find your way into child's pose. So now bring knees down. And release the pelvis down towards the feet. You can bring your head onto the mat. Or you can bring hands under the head. if it feels okay in the shoulders, keep arms extended overhead and lift hands onto fingertips. And that can offer a nice release for the wrists. Maybe a nice stretch around the shoulders. And now just let your breath calm down here. Take another few breaths in this child's pose. And then slowly ground your hands back onto the mat overhead. And we're going to lift back onto hands and knees. Now we're going to hover the knees for a bit. So really spread your palms, press down through the hands, tuck the toes under and find a long line from hip to your tail. And then lift the knees off the mat just slightly. So you keep a neutral line through the back. But we're hovering the knees. Keep drawing in through the belly. Keep pressing down through the shoulders. Just activating the core, shoulders even more. Take another breath in and out here. And then as you exhale, lift back into downward dog. Just as a transition pose. And from here, we're going to step or jump both feet to hands into squat, into Malasana pose. So you might look forward to your hands and then step or jump your feet to the outside of your hands. Rotate the hips open, turn toes a bit out to the sides, and then lower your pelvis down. And find your yoga squat. If it's better to keep hands on the mat, you can do that. Or bring palms together in front of your chest. Excuse me. And then find your breath here. Again, I'm going to pause here for a few breaths. Elbows supporting to keep the knees slightly open. A long line from head to your tail. Take another breath in and out. And really press down through the feet, because then next we're going to lift all the way up to standing. So now as you inhale, start to lift yourself up, extending the legs, reaching the arms up. And then turn toes towards the short side of the mat and bring arms to next to your sides, hands to your hips. And we're going to keep feet a bit wider apart. We're going to exhale, fold halfway down into flat back. And you could bend your knees just slightly, so we're not hanging on the joints, but really keeping the legs active. And we try to stay here for a few breaths, trying to find some activation through the back side of the body. So we're not collapsing down, but we're really engaging from feet through the backs of the legs, through the buttocks, to the back side of the spine, keeping chest open. So feel activation between the shoulder blades as well in your upper back. Take another breath here, in and out. And then as you inhale, lift yourself up. Now bring arms behind the back, interlock your fingers. Inhale, open the chest. And then we go back into flat back, keeping hands together behind the back. So exhale, again hinge forward from the hips, finding that same activation. Now the arms might help you to keep the chest the shoulders more open. And keep your neck, your head in a long line with your back as well. If it helps, you might try lifting your toes just slightly off the mat. Take another breath in and out. And then we're going to go into a full forward bend. So keep your legs active. As you exhale, fold forward. Now, if you want, you can extend your arms away from the back, if that feels okay in the shoulders, or you can keep hands on your lower back. Keep fronts of the legs, inner thighs active. And breathe. Head can sink down. Take one more breath in and out. And then as you exhale, bring hands onto your lower back, hands onto your hips. And as you inhale, start to reach your back up, coming up through the flat back. And you can roll the shoulders, release the hands, release the arms. And then heel toe your feet closer together. And take a couple of breaths here in a full Tadasana pose, active standing pose. Feel your feet grounded, head reaching up. And then from this mountain pose, we're going to go into the dancer balancing pose. So now shift your weight onto your left foot and then bend your right knee and see if you could reach your right hand to your right foot or ankle. You could hold the outside or the inside of the foot. We're going to reach left arm in front of us. You can turn the palm up towards the ceiling and inhale. As you exhale, see if you start to tilt slightly forward through the pelvis, reaching the right leg up and back behind you. So your chest is pulling forward, the right leg gently pulling back. And just finding your balance. You might bend your standing leg knee. And let your chest open. Take one more breath in and out. And as you inhale, slowly bring yourself up. Bring right knee towards the chest. You can hold the knee, you can hold the shin. And just open your chest. You can pull the right knee in towards the belly, towards the chest. And then exhale, release both feet down. You can move your feet, move your ankles. We'll do the same standing on the right foot. So shift your weight onto the right foot. Bend your left knee and reach left hand for the foot or ankle. Again, maybe you're holding outside, maybe the inside of the foot. Now reach right arm in front of you, or maybe even higher up. See if you can turn, kind of rotate the arm so palm is facing up. And inhale, open the chest. Exhale, see if you could start to tilt forward. Again, lift leg, reaching behind you as your chest is reaching forward. Find a focus point for your gaze. And then breathe. It might be that your breath is more shallow here. Maybe it's just going to the chest. Keeping that core active, belly gently drawn in. Take one more breath here. And then as you inhale, slowly come back up. Again, bring left knee towards the chest, towards the belly. You can hold the knee, hold the shin. Lifting up through the knee, opening across the chest. And exhale, release both feet down, release the arms. And then walk your feet again wider apart. We go back into the yogi squat, into that malasana pose. So step feet wider apart, rotate the hips slightly open. As you inhale, reach arms up overhead, bring palms together, and then exhale, lower all the way down into your squat. You might still adjust your feet. And same options as before. You can keep your hands together in front of the chest, or you might bring hands onto the mat if that feels better. And breathing here again, long line from head to tail. Heels don't have to be on the mat if that feels better. Just make sure we're not twisting from the knees. So active rotation from the hips. Take one more breath here, in and out. And then exhale, bring hands to the mat. Step or jump your feet back into plank pose. So again, find a good place for your hands. And then walk your feet just a bit closer so we can come back to hovering the knees. So knees bend, almost touching the mat, and long line from head to the tail, just like we did before. And we try to take about 5 breaths here, in and out. Keeping neck, head in a long line with the back. Maybe another 2 breaths, depending on how fast you're breathing. And then exhale, release your knees down. Lean pelvis towards the feet into child's pose. And if you want, you might open the knees a bit wider this time in this child's pose. See if you can bring your head down, leaning head onto the mat. And then in this child's pose, walk your hands towards the right side of the mat. Finding a side bend, the moon child pose. So now we're opening through the left side body. And take a couple of breaths here, in and out. You can lean head onto the mat, or you can lean head onto your arms. Slowly, with your next couple of breaths, walk your hands back to center, and then walk your hands towards the left side of the mat. Now finding a side bend, so opening on the right side of the body. Again, head might lean all the way down to the mat, or you might lean head onto your right arm. Send your breaths towards the right side of your body. Slowly, with your next couple of breaths, and come back to center. Walk hands back to center. Lift onto hands and knees, just so that you can cross your shins, your ankles, and then sit over your ankles onto the mat. And we're going to go lying down on the back. So you might need to shift yourself a little bit, and then roll your back down, slowly bringing yourself onto your back. You could do a couple of windshield wipers, swing the knees. And then we're going to go into a bridge pose. So bring your legs to center. And bring feet roughly hip width apart. Where do you feel you can press down through the feet? Arms down next to the sides. Inhale. And as you exhale, press down through the feet, especially through the heels, to lift the pelvis, lift the back off the mat. Then you might walk your shoulder blades a bit closer together. pressing down through the backs of the shoulders and arms as well. If you want, if that suits your body, you might step hands under the pelvis. So using your forearms to lift the pelvis just a bit higher up, almost like a supported bridge, but still keeping legs active. Keep inner thighs active. Take another breath or two in and out here. And then slowly, as you exhale, release the arms, release your back down, release the pelvis down. And now you could hug your knees in towards the chest, towards the belly. And then we'll have an option to go into the full wheel pose if you want to lift yourself onto hands and feet. Or you could repeat that bridge pose. Or maybe find a different variation for your bridge pose. If you feel safe moving into the wheel, bring your feet down, step hands close to your shoulders, next to the head, fingers pointing away from the feet. Or remember, you can find your way into the bridge pose. Inhale, and then as you exhale, press down through the feet, lift the pelvis, then press down through the hands to lift the back, lift the head off the mat. And keep inner thighs active. Keep your legs active. Notice how much weight you have on your arms, how much weight on your legs. Can you find a good balanced place there for your wheel? And breathe. Take another breath or two in and out wherever you are in your back bend. And then exhale, start to travel down. If you're coming down from the wheel, tuck your chin to your chest as you come down. Lower down safely, slowly. And then again, you could hug the knees in. This time, open the legs a bit wider apart. Bring knees towards the armpits. Or you might even go into a happy baby pose. If you want, you could reach hands to your feet and then lift the feet up into the air. Maybe bending, straightening the knees. You can keep rocking from side to side. Just finding a counter pose after your big final back bend. That was the last back bend for today. Wherever you are, take a couple more breaths in, just bouncing away from that back bend. And then slowly, slowly bend your knees. If you're in a happy baby pose, bring your feet down and we'll go into a reclining twist. Slowly first bring your both knees to the left side of the mat. You could open your right arm to the right side of the mat. Maybe left hand resting on the legs. Feel free to adjust the legs. Maybe it's nice to extend one leg more than the other. Maybe you want to turn head to one side or the other. Just find your twist. And then breathe here. And let your breaths slide all the way down towards the belly. All the way down towards the lower back. Each out breath softening the body. And you might let out a couple of sighs. And slowly, in your own time, start to release the twist. Roll back onto your back. Either hug the knees or just bring your feet onto the mat. And we'll go in that twist on the other side. So now, just gently bring your knees to the right side of the mat. Open your chest, maybe open left arm to the left side of the mat. And let yourself find a place, a shape for the legs and arms on this side. It might be different. Find a place where your head, where your neck can soften. And then again, allow your breaths to slide down towards the belly, towards the lower back. Creating space and releasing effort. And then slowly with your next couple of breaths, start to find your way out of the twist. Roll back onto your back. And then we're going to find Shavasana pose. Your resting pose. And that could be lying down on the back, maybe extending the legs. Maybe you want to leave your knees bent. Maybe knees are leaning against each other. Or maybe a butterfly shape in the legs. And if lying down on the back doesn't feel good right now, you could also find a different kind of resting pose. So let this be any easy pose. Or you could let yourself find a moment of stillness, a moment of silence. Invite your full awareness to your breath. Let your breath serve as a focus point for your mind. Just breath by breath, allowing your mind to quiet down as well. Giving yourself a moment to rest. Give yourself another 5 to 10 breaths in your resting pose. And just notice how you feel now. yourself to make those observations without any judgment. There's no right or wrong way to feel. Just notice what you're feeling now. And if you'd like to extend this Shavasana pose, you can stay here as long as you want. If you feel that you'd be ready to slowly start closing the practice, take a couple of bigger, deeper breaths in and out. Bring some gentle movement to your fingers, your toes, your hands, your feet, maybe circle the wrist joints, ankle joints. You could reach arms overhead along the floor, stretch the whole body long from hands down to the feet. And then release the arms, release the legs and roll down onto one side so that you could slowly bring yourself up into a seat, into your own final seat, and that could be any shape, any pose of your choice. Leading hips, leading back, shoulders soft. Give yourself another few breaths here in and out, just slowly closing the practice. And if it's a part of your practice, you can bring your palms together in front of the chest. And as always, at the end of the practice, most importantly, thank yourself. Thank yourself for bringing yourself onto the mat, into your body, into your practice today. And I thank you very much for joining in, for sharing this practice today. Namaste. Thank you.